Welcome back. The Good Neighbor Fund aims to support local entrepreneurs right here in the Queen City. And here to talk more about it is Jason from the Good Neighbor Fund and Rebecca, who started her business with their help. Thanks so much for coming in, you two.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Let's start off by talking about kind of like an overview of the mission, Jason, with the Good Neighbors Fund and what you're trying to accomplish.
Sure. The Good Neighbor Fund is a community-led grassroots organization, and we are focused on supporting entrepreneurs and new founders, primarily at the ideation stage, so the earliest stage of entrepreneurship when that business could be a business idea written down on a napkin.
Yes, you stress the importance of funding the ideation stage. Why is that so kind of the baseline that you like to start at?
Yeah, I think it's super important because, first of all, just looking at zooming out to the broader ecosystem here, see it as a gap. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of great organizations that can support founders later on, which is great, but we see some opportunity there at the early stage and wanting to get, we want to see more people get into that funnel of starting a business and maybe take that first step of starting a business that they may not have taken before.
That's right, and also starting it right, quote unquote, because I mean, there's no right way, but there's a lot of things that you learn along the process, and maybe if you had a little bit more help in the beginning stages, things might go a little bit smoother. Some of the things that business owners learn the hard way, they might not have to if they're having that help from the start, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So how do you take care of traditionally marginalized groups that have often and historically been overlooked?
That's a great question. And, when you read the headlines and see that 12% of venture funding goes to women and some basis points, 1% go towards Black founders, it's pretty depressing. So when, we started Good Neighbor Fund, that's been a major focus. So we've been pretty proud to see that of our micro grants that over 80% have went to women-owned or led businesses, and over 50% have went to BIPOC-owned or led businesses. Well, that's been a major focus, that our funding goes to, looks at traditionally underserved communities.
That's right. Tell us more about your approach to this kind of funding.
It's, like I said in the beginning, it's community-led. So Good Neighbor Fund is comprised of just community members, just other people in the community where other business owners, founders, creators, but we are just a group that pool our own knowledge, networks, and funds together. And we get together every quarter and review these applications that come in, but it's the community selecting other community members to receive a micro grant.
Nice. Rebecca, tell us a little bit about your story and how you got connected with the Good Neighbors Fund.
Sure. So I'm the co-owner of Ernie's Pop Shop along with my husband, and we make ice cream popsicles and ice pops using local ingredients inspired by American and South American flavors. And so one of the past recipients of the Good Neighbors Fund reached out to me and was like, I know you're starting your business. I think this would be a great fit. And so we applied, and we were fortunate enough to get the grant. And it's been a great help to our business, but also the connections that we formed through the Good Neighbors Fund. And now we have the opportunity to spread the word to everybody else that we know that has a small business.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about how impactful the Good Neighbor Fund is in bringing your business to life. Tell us about this that you brought in and how they helped you accomplish it.
Sure. So I think the Good Neighbors Fund, it helps in two really big ways. So the first is that when you're first starting your business, you're pinching pennies. Everything matters. So to be handed a check for $1,000, like your world explodes,
Yeah.
And then secondly, when we got the check, I remember telling my husband, I was like, this is physical proof that someone who isn't our parents believes in us, believes in our idea.
Totally.
And so it meant so much. We were able to take that money, we split it in two parts. One of them is that we had our custom freezer done for our wholesale partners. We had it wrapped with our logo and design that was done by my brilliant graphic design sister-in-law. And then my brother designed our popsicle display in front of you, but we didn't have the PLE filament to be able to 3D print it to bring it to life. And so the second half of the micro grant funding helped us accomplish that.
Awesome. So how do you see this project really creating a ripple effect across Western New York?
Yeah, I think Rebecca mentioned that she was led on to the Good Neighbor Fund from another past founder,
Yeah.
but it's that word of mouth, it's success breeding other success, but it's it's one person's success breeding further success. It's all it takes is one success story to create more jobs, to create other opportunities for for others in Western New York. And Good Neighbor Fund is more than just the idea is going beyond just economic development and seeing more small businesses being created and more jobs, but creating fun and joy in Western New York and creating the Buffalo that we want to live in.
I love it. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing more about what you're trying to accomplish through this mission, Jason. Viewers, if you'd like more information on the Good Neighbor Fund and everything they're doing to create a Buffalo that we want to live in, visit neighborhoods.space or connect with them on Instagram at Good Neighbor Fund. Thanks again for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having